Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Arcana Force deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck just got some amazing new support, giving us a new boss monster, Arcana Force the Fiend, which is such a powerful card and it actually helps us get to our field spell, which is crazy. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Arcana Force the Fiend. This card is crazy powerful to the deck and is actually basically like a terraforming, which is so cool. Because you can discard this card, add a copy of Light Barrier from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is great to be able to get to our field spell, so we can get the exact coin toss effects that we want. But this card is a really cool ability. If this card is summoned, you toss a coin and then it gains the appropriate effect based on heads or tails. If you get heads, then when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 points of damage to the controller, and if tails, if any attack is declared involving this card, destroy all monsters on the field, which is a crazy powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Arcana Force the World. The World is awesome because this card can actually turn skip your opponent, which is our main boss monster we're summoning all the time in the deck. Is when this card is summoned, you toss a coin, and if you get heads during the end phase, you send 2 monsters you control to the graveyard and skip your opponent's entire next turn. But if you get tails during your opponent's draw phase, add the top card of their deck to their hand, essentially giving them 2 cards during their draw phase. We then play 3 copies of Arcana Force the Fool. Fool is really good as a 3-of in the deck because this card cannot be destroyed by battle, which is an awesome ability to instantly just basically give you a monster that's going to protect your life points, but this card is really good as a 3-of in the build. It has the ability that, depending on that coin toss, depends on the ability that you get. If you get heads, negate the effects of your spells, traps, and effect monsters that target this card and destroy them, but if you get tails, negate the effects of your opponent's spells, traps, and monster effects that target this card and destroy them. We then play a single copy of the Lovers. The Lovers is great as a 1-of in the build. I have cut this card down a lot in the deck, but it's still pretty good because when this card is summoned, you toss a coin. If heads, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of an Arcana Force monster, but if tails, you cannot tribute summon Arcana Force monsters, which is a big downside, but I feel like this card as a 1-of in the build is just really good. We then play a single copy of Archlord Christia. Archlord Christia is definitely a 1-of in the deck because we're playing so many different fairies, and this just can lock down your opponent from special summoning, which is really, really nice, especially once we establish the field. It's very easy to put on your side of the field because if you have exactly 4 fairy type monsters in the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, making it really easy to put on the field, especially with cards like Valhalla in the deck. It's very easy to get this card out on your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Guardian of Order. Guardian of Order is awesome as a 2-of in the build just to give us additional monsters on the field. As you have 2 or more light monsters, if you control 2 or more light monsters, then you can special summon this card from your hand, but you can only control 1 of this card, but it's great in the deck as a 2-of just to instantly get this card out on the field. We then play 2 copies of the card that searches Valhalla. This card is just a great 2-of in the deck to help us get to our copy of Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, to be able to special summon out our fairies to our side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Victoria. Victoria, Angel of Bravery, is such a cool 3-of in this build because this card is just an amazing tech card that if this card is special summoned, you can special summon a level 5 or higher light monster from your hand, but you lose life points equal to original attack. Also, its attack becomes double until the end of the turn, which is a great ability if you have your copy of the World or the Fiend in your hand. You can actually just special summon them out to your side of the field once you summon this card with your copy of Valhalla, which is absolutely amazing, doubling their attack points, making them absolutely massive to help you OTK your opponent. But this card is definitely a 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of the Agent of Creation, Venus. Venus is really good as a 3-of in the build because you just pay 500 light points with this card to be able to special summon a Mystical Shine Ball from your hand or deck, which is really good, especially to help us go over cards like Yugioh. And it's just a really good card overall in this build just to be able to swarm the board so we can link climb into some really awesome plays. We then play 3 copies of Shine Ball. Shine Ball is definitely a 3 of in the build to be able to summon off our copy of Venus so we can link climb into some really cool plays. We finally play a single copy of the Star Destroying Kaiju. This card is a small world bridge to be able to get the exact cards that we need, because this card only has in common that it's a light card with any card in this deck, so this card is really good in the deck as a 1-of, just to be able to reveal in the deck with your copy of Small World as a small world bridge. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Arcana Reading. Arcana Reading is really good as a 3-of in the deck, because this card has the ability to toss a coin and apply the effect if Light Barrier is on the field. Then you actually get to choose the effect instead, which is just so good. And it has the ability of heads, you add 1 card from your deck to your hand that has a coin tossing effect except Arcana Reading, but if it's tails, your opponent adds 1 card from their deck to their hand, and you manage this card from the grave to immediately as effect resolves, you get to normal summon an Arcana Force monster to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Trade-In. Trade-In's really good because we do play a lot of level 8s in the deck to help us just dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. We then play 3 copies of Small World. Small World is great in this build to basically reveal any fairy in your hand, and then once you do, you reveal your copy of your Star Destroying Kaiju to get to the exact card that you need in the deck, which is just really good. We then play 3 copies of Light Barrier. Light Barrier is really good as a 3-of in the build because it helps us get the exact coin toss effect that we want off of our Arcana Force cards, because during your standby phase, toss a coin, and if the result is tails, the following effect is negated until your next standby phase. That when you summon an Arcana Force monster, you choose which effect to apply without even tossing a coin, and if an Arcana Force monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you gain life points equal to destroyed monster's original attack, which is a insane ability, but I feel like 3 copies is really needed in this build, as you really want to get this card as quickly as possible. We then play 3 copies of Valhalla Hall of the Fallen. This card is great because we play a lot of high-level monsters in the deck, and this card has the ability that once per turn, if you control no monster, you can special summon a fairy monster from your hand, which works really well with their copy of Victoria to be able to instantly special summon out another light monster and double its attack points, so we can OTK our opponent, which is just really nice. But this card is great in the deck as a 3-of. We also play 2 copies of its Searcher, making it very easy to get to this card, so we can just OTK our opponent or skip our opponent's turn with our copy of the World. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of number 97. This card is awesome in the deck because if you put 2 level 8s on your side of the field, you can make this card, detach your materials from this card, and then use it to summon out either a copy of number 38 to be able to spell negate, or a copy of number 100 to come out at 9,000 attack points to be able to OTK. It's really good to be able to use this in the deck to be able to basically just have it as an OTK piece. We then play a single copy of number 60. This card doubles the attack of a monster, brings a monster back from the graveyard, or lets you draw 2 and discard a card, which is just really nice to be able to use this card in the build. We then play a single copy of your Typhon. Typhon just goes in just about any deck, and it's really good in this build because it's just an insane card to be able to make if you're going second, and it's just such a good card. We then play a single copy of Skull Dread. Skull Dread is great in this deck because you can use your copy of Venus to help you step into this card by making other cards like your copy of Link Spider and your copy of Imduk first to be able to have multiple monsters on the field with different names to be able to summon out your copy of Skull Dread to draw 4, put 3 back to get to the exact cards you need, and also be able to special summon a monster from your hand. Just by normal summoning out your copy of Venus and paying 1,500 life points, you can basically step into this card. We then play a single copy of Access Code because this card is just amazing in the build to be able to pop multiple cards on the field, and it comes out absolutely massive. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa because it's really good to be able to establish this card on your side of the field as a multiple monster negate just in case you need to. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, one copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps. These cards are really good in the deck as one each, just to be able to deal with any card that's on the field. We then play a single copy of the Light Charmer. Light Charmer is great in this build as a one-of, to basically just have to link climb into other plays. We then play a single copy of SP Little Knight. You don't have to play this card, you can play Nightmare Cerberus instead, because we don't go into the extract all that often outside of cards like Mdook, IP Masquerena, your copy of Link Spider, stuff like that, so you don't have to play this card if you don't want to. If you don't have it, you can change it out for Nightmare Cerberus. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make our copy of SP Little Knight or Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn to be able to spin a card, or use your copy of SP Little Knight as a double interruption. We then play a single copy of Link Spider and a single copy of Mdook. These cards are just really good in the deck because you can make your copy of Link Spider with your copy of the Shine Ball, and then make a copy of Mdook with the other Shine Ball, and then use a Shine Ball, Venus, and both of these cards to step into your copy of Sword Yugioh, so you can get a draw 4, and you get the ability to special summon a monster from your hand, which is just so good. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played an Arcana Force deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try. Hopefully we get more Arcana Force support in the future, because this deck is just really fun, and I absolutely love the coin toss effects that you have in this build, even summoning out the copy of the World, so that you can basically use that card as a turn skip. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.